Welcome back to my channel, Worth Old Coins. Today is best. Top 4 coins, one you want to miss we're diving into. The world of Canada coins. Please don't skip this video, so let's get it started. Top 1. The full long history of the 1987 Canadian 1 cent penny coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II. General overview: denomination 1 cent, penny, country, Canada, year 1987, monarch Queen Elizabeth II, metal composition 95.5% copper, 1.5% zinc, 3% tin, solid bronze, diameter 19.005 mm, weight 2.5 grams, edge plain, mint, Royal Canadian Mint, Winnipeg, obverse, front, details, portrait, Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, designer, Arnold Machine, a British sculptor, Elizabeth II, D.G., Regina, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen. Notes: this portrait was used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989. In 1990, the portrait was replaced with a new design by Dora de Pedery Hunt. Reverse, back, details, design. 2 maple leaves on a single twig, designer, George Edward Kruger. Gray 1 cent. 1987. Canada. 1987 was part of a transitional period for Canada's coinage. The penny was still widely used, but inflation had reduced its purchasing power. The bronze composition of the penny made it increasingly expensive to produce. This was one of the last years the Canadian penny was made of solid bronze. In 1982, the U.S. had already switched to copper-plated zinc. Canada, followed by introducing plated zinc pennies starting in 1997. And steel in 2000. Mintage numbers total minted in 1987, 774,549,000. This makes the 1987 penny very common, so most circulated coins are of low collector value, end of an era, contextually. Though production continued for years, the classic design and material of the 1987 penny was nearing the end. The portrait of Elizabeth II changed in 1990. The metal composition changed in 1997 and again in 2000. Canada officially stopped producing the 1 cent coin in 2012, and it was withdrawn from circulation in 2013. Collector value, numismatics, circulated 1987 penny, worth face value or a few cents, uncirculated or mint condition, may sell for 0.10 to $1 CAD, rare errors or varieties. Die, cracks off center, strikes, doubled dies, these can sell for more, depending on the error and condition. Cultural significance. The maple leaf design is an enduring symbol of Canada. The 1987 coin reflects Canada's mid-20th century coinage style, blending British royal imagery with Canadian national identity. Though no longer used, the penny is still remembered fondly by Canadians and collectors alike. Top 2. The full long history of the 1867-1992 Canadian 1 cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, including its background, meaning, design, and collector details. Coin overview. Denomination: 1 cent, penny, country, Canada, year, marked 1867-1992, issued in 1992. To commemorate Canada's 125th anniversary of Confederation monarch. Queen Elizabeth II metal composition, copper-plated zinc, diameter 1905 mm, weight 2.5 grams, edge plain, mint, Royal Canadian Mint. Why 1867-1992? 1867, the year of Canadian Confederation, when Canada became a self-governing dominion within the British Empire. 92. Marks 125 years of Canada as a nation. To celebrate, the Royal Canadian Mint released special commemorative coins, including this 1 cent coin, obverse, front. Design portrait, Queen Elizabeth II, facing right, designer, Dora de Pedery Hunt, effigy. Introduced in 1990, features a more mature queen wearing a tiara, Elizabeth II, D.G., Regina, Latin for Elizabeth II. By the grace of God, Queen, reverse, back. Design, 2 maple leaves on a twig, same as regular penny, Designer, G.E. Kruger Gray. Cent, 867, 1992, Canada. Difference from regular pennies, instead of a single date, e.g. 1992, it reads 1867-1992 to honor 125 years of Canadian Confederation. Mintage and circulation, mintage. Over 673 million produced, purpose. Circulating commemorative coin. Used in everyday transactions. This was not a collector-only issue. It was mass-produced like regular pennies, but with a special date. Collector information circulated coins. Worth 1 cent or a few cents, uncirculated, mint state. Maybe worth 0.101 CAD, brilliant uncirculated, proof-like sets. Higher value depending on condition. Not rare but significant for collectors of Canadian commemoratives, historical context. Canada 125. In 1992, Canada celebrated 125 years of Confederation. The Royal Canadian Mint released a full set of commemorative coins, one for each province and territory, 25-cent coins, and updated designs for some lower denominations like this 1-cent coin. It was part of a broader national celebration. End of the Canadian penny. Canada stopped minting the penny in 2012 due to cost of production, more than 1 cent to make. Declining usage, environmental impact. The penny was withdrawn from circulation in 2013, but coins like the 1867-1992 edition remain popular with collectors and Canadians who value history. Summary. The 1867-1992 Canadian penny is a commemorative circulation coin marking 125 years of Canada, same design as the classic maple leaf penny, but with special dual dates common in circulation, but a memorable historical piece, holds symbolic and educational value more than monetary value. Top 3. The 1994 1-cent Canada coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II is a small but historically interesting part of Canada's numismatic history. The full long history behind it. Overview of the coin denomination. 1 cent, penny. Country, Canada. Year, 1994. Monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Metal, primarily copper-plated zinc or copper-plated steel, depending on the minting batch. Diameter, 19.05 mm. Weight, 2.5 grams, zinc core. 235 grams, steel core, obverse, front. Design portrait, Queen Elizabeth II. Designer, Dora de Patery Hunt, Canadian sculptor, design. Introduced in 1990, this was the third effigy of Queen Elizabeth II used on Canadian coins. She is shown wearing a tiara, facing right. Elizabeth II, DG Regina, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, reverse, back. Design, 2 maple leaves on a twig. Designer, George Edward Kruger, gray design, used. Since 1937, historical context, the 1994. Canadian penny was part of the long tradition of 1-cent coins in Canada that began in 1858. During the 1990s, Canada was beginning to modernize its coinage, including reducing the cost of production, transitioning to plated coins, copper-plated, zinc or steel instead of solid bronze. Changing minting technologies, e.g., laser engraving, mintage and production. Mintage. Over 624 million 1-cent coins were minted in 1994. Mint location. Royal Canadian Mint, primarily in Winnipeg. Most 1994 pennies were made with copper-plated zinc, but some were steel-based due to testing or transitional production. End of the penny. Although the 1994 penny itself was not the last, it was part of the final decades of Canadian penny production. Canada officially stopped minting the 1-cent coin in 2012, and the coin was withdrawn from circulation in 2013, due to rising production costs, more than 1 cent per coin. Environmental impact, lack of purchasing power. Collector's value. Most 1994 Canadian pennies are common and worth face value or a few cents in circulated condition. Uncirculated or proof versions. especially with errors or high grades, may fetch 0.25 to a few dollars. Rare variants like those struck on the wrong planche or with die errors are collectible. Symbolic value, though no longer used in everyday transactions, the 1-cent coin remains a symbol of Canadian identity, especially due to the maple leaf, a national symbol. Top 4. The full long history of the 1983 Canadian 1-cent coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II, including design, production, historical context, and collector value. Coin overview. Denomination, 1 cent, penny. Country, Canada. Year, 1983. Monarch, Queen Elizabeth II. Metal. Composition, 95.5% copper, 1.5% zinc, 3% tin, solid bronze. Diameter, 19.05 mm. Weight, 2.5 grams. Edge, plain, mint. Royal Canadian Mint, Winnipeg. Obverse, front. Design portrait, Queen Elizabeth II facing right. Design by Arnold Machine, Elizabeth II, D.G. Regina, Latin for Elizabeth II, by the grace of God. Queen, about the design. This effigy was used from 1965 to 1989. The Queen wears a Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, gifted to her grandmother, Queen Mary, reverse, back. Design. 2 maple leaves on a twig designed. By G.E. Kruger Gray, Cent, 1983, Canada maple leaf. Symbolism: the maple leaf has long symbolized Canadian pride, nature, and identity. The design has appeared on the penny since 1937. Canada, in 1983 inflation, had reduced the buying power of the penny significantly. Despite rising metal costs, Canada continued using solid bronze until the mid-1990s. The 1-cent coin was still in widespread use in everyday transactions. Mintage figures 1983. Total mintage 975,005 10,000. Nearly a billion coins were minted, making it a very common year. Notable variety 1983, near bead and far bead. This year is interesting to collectors because of bead variety. Refers to the spacing of the dots, beads, around the Queen's portrait. Near beads, beads closer to the edge. Far beads, beads slightly further from the rim. These varieties are subtle, but far beads are generally scarcer and may be worth a premium in uncirculated condition. Collector value: circulated coins. Face value, 1 cent. Uncirculated coins, MS 60 or higher, 0.10. 2 red brilliant uncirculated coins, fully copper red. Up to 5+ far beads variety. Sometimes sells for more among variety collectors. End of the penny. Context. The penny remained in circulation until 2013, when the Canadian government officially ended its production due to high production cost, reduced usage, environmental concerns. Summary: the 1983 Canadian 1-cent coin is a classic bronze penny with the long-standing maple leaf design, featuring Queen Elizabeth II in the machine portrait style. Mostly common, but interesting due to far close beads varieties. A nostalgic piece of Canada's rich coinage history. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.